Hi, it's Mike DelSignore, Massachusetts OUI lawyer. In today's video, I want to talk about what happens if you're charged with OUI and it's your second offense. And the case is going to be heard in Woburn District Court. Woburn is a court I've been going to for years. I have a lot of experience in that court. So first thing I want to explain to you, and this is usually where people start when they call me, when can I get my license back? So second offense, there's some different scenarios. You can get your license back within 30 days if you took a breath test and you failed. If you refused a breath test and your two OUI offenses are within 10 years, you have a 3-year suspension. You're going to have to win the case to get your license back. So there's not a quick way to get you back on the road. There's no hardships on that suspension. If your two OUI offenses are outside of 10 years, you're eligible for what's known as the Cahill resolution. You'd have to admit to the OUI, get the Cahill resolution, a second chance a first offender program, so you'll do the 24D just like you did on your first offense, and then you could get back on the road with a hardship. That may require you go to the Board of Appeals, so how quickly that happens varies from case to case, but I can go over that process. So that's the different license scenarios. If your two OUIs are within 10 years and you refuse, you got to win the case, you'll need a not guilty. Outside of 10 years and you refused, you have to admit to the case, to the charge, and then try to get a hardship. Now, even if your OUI offenses are outside 10 years, it still might be your best decision to go to trial, win the case, and then try to get reinstated entirely. That way you don't have the interlock device in your car. So those are all things I'll go over with you when you hire me for the case. I always help people with the license. It's part of the case. Some attorneys say you're on your own with the RMV. I think that is a disservice to you. I think the help with the actual case, having you found not guilty, and getting back on the road, all part of my fee, my process. So I'll definitely walk you through that step by step. So how do you win these cases? So OUI offenses, they're very subjective. The government's going to prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, high level of proof. So what I look for in a second offense, OUI or any OUI offense, is that the field sobriety test, these are subjective, very subjective. There's a lot of reasons why you might not have performed well in a walk and turn that are unrelated to alcohol. You might have a knee, back, leg problem. So these tests, the assumption that if you don't do well in these tests, it's because of alcohol, is fundamentally flawed. So I attack that when we fight a case. We go after the field sobriety tests. Often we use those as part of your defense. I'll argue that you did very well, that these tests are inconsistent with impairment. If there's any bad driving, we try to minimize, neutralize any bad driving, and point out good driving. Often, once the lights come on, most people pull over safely and immediately. Now, the police are taught to look for the driving after the blue lights go on as an additional potential sign of impairment. So if that's not present in your case, it's inconsistent with their training, inconsistent with being impaired. If you took a breath test, don't assume these tests always come into evidence. There's ways to keep them out of evidence. You can have a hearing to challenge the basis for the admission of this test into evidence. There are different procedures that the officers must comply with, a 15-minute observation period. There are certain medical conditions that could impact a breath test result. So all these things I'll go over with you and help you make the best decision for yourself on a case. For example, recently I had a client want to resolve a case, and it was a winnable case. We could have probably fought it, but for him, he had a job, and the concern was the job wasn't going to be happy if there was a license loss today for 30 days and then potentially down the road. So when you take a breath loss and you fail, though you get your license back in 30 days, if you then are found guilty or admit to it, you have a separate license suspension down the road. So I always want people to be aware that for many people it's not an issue and it's still worth fighting the case. But sometimes people have specific concerns. So every case is unique. Your concerns, your family situation, your work situation is going to be different than other people that I've helped. So I try to give my knowledge of the law, and then you tell me about your life, your family situation, and you can make a more informed decision. But for many people on a second offense, you're going to want to fight the case because of the implications. You're going to have to, if the two offenses are within 10 years, you'll have to do a 14-day program, be looking at a 2-year license loss and an interlock in the car. Now, another strategy that I use, sometimes I can go after the first offense, where if the first offense is between 2011 2019, I can file a motion to vacate that, so it knocks your second offense down to a first offense, and in many cases that first offense will get dismissed. So if you have a second offense OUI and your case is going to be heard at Woburn, feel free to call, text me anytime. My name's Mike DelSignore, 781-686-5924. My passion is helping people make the best decisions for themselves when charged with OUI, and I can help you. Reach out anytime.